the new spring growth and blossoms. Lots of little flowers around here in Mount Arbel. Just perched a little above the Sea of Galilee this morning. Just saw tiny little flowers here coming out. Let me see if I can show you okay over here. I'm terrible for retaining names. It does look like a little different than these other ones that are also quite abundant. They have a different stem and different plant. That our old famous daisy. Daisy is called Margarita. So that's where that name comes from. In other languages, not sure if in Latin and Spanish. So today is a little bit about risk taking. Ready to be able to take risks. And trust. And we don't like taking too much risk, and we like to have signs. But sometimes maybe what's happening is we're also a little proud, and we don't like, just following the agenda of others. I wasn't aware of apparently a very famous business coach, professor, very widely written and published guy. And one day I just saw a few minutes of a video he did. Well, I'm not sure when he did it, but it's out there on the YouTube. And he talks about original people, but he talks about how a couple of his students came to him one day and said that they wanted to do an industry disruptive startup, and they invited him to invest. But there were lots of just human issues with his trust in what they were doing. I don't know if I want to go up here. I won't go up, I'll just zoom in for you. And he saw this new bloom of business offering itself, and he turned them down. And the proposal was to be the initial investor in Warby Parker glasses, which was $1 billion, which is now over $1 billion industry apparently. So he had a good sense of humor, and he self-deprecating a little bit as well, And so he just illustrates a situation that happens in life I remember the play we had for the intermediate certificate in Ireland. That was halfway through high school, Julius Caesar. And there we have Brutus talking to Cassius before the Battle of Philippi. And some other people have breakfast this way. And he was convincing Cassius to start the battle. And there's a famous line, "There is a tide in the affairs of men, which taken at its height leads on to success, but missed ends up in the shallows of miseries." And that line always comes back, swimming against the tide and going with the flow. And the call today in both readings, thoroughly connected, look at all this green down here, enjoy it, because we're in March. Welcome to March, 1st of March, and in the 1st of June it will be gone. May it will be pretty browned, depending on how intense the sun will come. So there's a tide in the affairs of people, and there's a moment of grace that comes, and we're ready to take it. And that's what the people of Nineveh did. They took the opportunity, and they did so well as a result. They were completely transformed. And this story then is taken up by Jesus in his commentary, faced by the very critical, skeptical leaders of his time, who didn't want to get involved with him, because involvement with another human being can be by contract. These guys have come out of the little meshes that were all over the place in the last few weeks. You see that some of the mesh is still there on the little web, and these plants are here to feed them. I hope you don't mind these little guys, because I wouldn't want to offend you, but it's part of nature. Before they fly, priming ourselves, prepping ourselves for conversion. And probably one of the biggest deals is that we think we're all okay anyway, that we don't need to convert, we don't need to change. But change happens everywhere. I remember when Gorbachev came to East Germany, and he told Honecker, this was before the fall of the Berlin Wall, and he said, recognize the changing times or be swept away by them. And ultimately that's Jesus' huge call. But the interesting thing about, Cassius motivating, or Brutus motivating Cassius to get involved and get into battle, Christ's battle is a very different one. It's a battle that goes through Calvary, in which he tells Peter, put away your sword. It's not about human power, and it's definitely not about destroying our enemies. It's about being a person who takes the burden of broken society on themselves and does their little part. Just like a mom who's maybe very, very sick or in a bad situation. Maybe her husband is away traveling in business, she's alone, and then the child is sick, and she has to clean up all the mess and keep going, It's the laying down of life for others to rise. That incredible gift of love. And then Jesus is not just going out to do it himself, but he's looking for a whole band of people to go with him. Come with me to renew the world, not by arrogance and power and money and human resources, but by transformation of life, transformation of heart, and being able to turn the other cheek. So obviously that rocks the boat for a lot of status quo thinking, and we're called out to a whole new mindset. I'll just give you a little look into these flowers here. There's a great scent of these flowers. And they're all so different, all these wonderful little creatures. We were here the other day, about a week ago, I think, or more or less. I saw a poppy up here. I don't know if we got any this year so far. It's a little bit weather beaten. still good. All the creativity, all the engineering, all the biology, the DNA, the reproductivity. Such different two flowers, right? Two plants. So different. And so we're called to bloom and blossom as well. Here we got more of these guys at an earlier stage. The gift of life, the gift of the challenge of growth, of transforming, of morphing from a little caterpillar into a butterfly. The growing pains of the athlete, of the business person, of the academic, of the human being. We're all in that situation. The growing pains of the elderly, they're still growing. They're growing in humanity. The growing pains of a terminally ill person, growing in humanity through those growing pains, transforming humanity through their love, converting and leaving bitter, useless, fruitless complaint, and embracing the great challenge of the moment in the midst of a family to show the true values of life. God bless you. You're the power lines. You deliver the power into society. God bless you. See you later, alligators.